Well, welcome to day 27 of our Energy Bus journey. We are 48 hours from this launch. And George knows that he's got to get things moving in the right direction, and he's got to get them moving fast. But as this chapter opens up, we see he's reviewing the love rules that Jack gave him on their morning ride to work. And George makes a powerful decision. He says right there on the opening page of this chapter, if I've got love to give, I need to start giving it today. Need to start giving it today, which is an important reminder to us that we shouldn't put off till tomorrow what we can start to do today. Now, George sees he's got 5 strategies to choose from, and these are 5 strategies that we could use with our teams as well. So I want to take a look at each of these. The first is to make time for them, to make time. Now, this one sounds simple, but it's easier said than done because we live in a very busy world, and many of our organizations are moving at a pretty fast pace. And if you're anything like me, you constantly feel like there's never enough time. But if we want to build strong relationships, we got to make time for the people that we're leading. And right there on page 122, it says, you can't nurture business relationships sitting at your desk, just as you can't spend quality time with your spouse if you're watching television. So the key insight here for us is we've got to be fully present with the people around us. But the challenging side of that is the busier a leader gets, the more likely they structure their schedule to avoid interruptions. And I think this is where we need to ask ourselves, am I using busyness as an excuse to avoid time with my key people? Sometimes we don't mean to do that, but that's what ends up happening. So to love our passengers, we've got to get through that. Now we see number 2 is to listen to them. To listen to them. One of the most critical elements of leadership is making sure that our team feels heard. And to be honest, so much of our day gets hijacked by urgent tasks, leaving us to feel like we don't have enough time or capacity to slow down and listen. And it becomes easier just to give a quick order and then move on. But again, on page 122, we're reminded that your employees and customers just want to be heard. So listen to them, hear them. But here's the key with this one. As it says, don't just practice active listening techniques. It's not all about just the technique. It's about being authentic. It's about being curious with those that we lead. One of my favorite lines in the chapter here is in this section. It says, empathy is the key. And empathy is not just about hearing words. It's about understanding someone's feelings. It's not just about listening. It's about stepping into their shoes. Now, what I've learned over time is people don't just want to be heard. They want to be understood. And that leads us to number 3, which is to recognize them. We love our passengers by recognizing them. This is really about honoring our people for who they are and what they do. I'm going to tell you a hard truth, something that I learned along the way. Some of our best people are most often the most under-recognized people in our organizations. Why? Well, because we start expecting them to always deliver. Let that sink in for a moment. Your best people are often your most under-recognized. I mean, I want you to think about how great does it feel to receive a thank you or a handwritten note from a leader? How powerful is it to be recognized, not just for the results, but to be recognized for the effort? And we don't often do that because we have created an expectation that they're just going to get it done. And if we're being honest, it doesn't take a lot of time or resources to just take a moment and recognize somebody. And even though it doesn't take a lot of time, it can create a lasting impact in their lives when we show that appreciation. So I think we could take action on this one by identifying somebody on our team that we just recently haven't thanked and stopping to take time to do that. Now, number 4 is to serve them. One of the best ways we can love our passengers is to help them chase their dream. Because the truth is, everybody has dreams. Everybody you're leading has dreams. It could be a career goal or a life goal or a passion outside of work. The question is, do we know the dreams of those that we're leading? Because when we know their dreams, we can do things like invest in their growth or help them reach their potential. In these, we can show them that we genuinely care about them and their future. Because remember, great leaders don't just develop employees, they develop people. They're actually people who have goals and dreams just like we do. Now, the final one on the 5 ways is to bring out the best in them. A leader's job is not to have all the answers. It's to bring out the best in others. And too often, as leaders, we get caught up into a few traps. One is that we give the answers too quickly instead of letting them actually learn. Another trap we get caught in is we make every decision instead of empowering others to make some decisions. And then another one is we create dependence instead of developing confidence in the people that we're leading. Because when we rush to give people the answer, we often rob them of the chance to grow. So when we're at our best as leaders, we ask more questions than we give answers. We give them those opportunities to grow. So here's my reflection question. Looking at these 5 ways, a reflection question for you today is, which of the 5 ways to love your passengers resonates with you the most? Is it making more time for your team? Is it becoming a better listener or recognizing people more often? Or is it helping others trace their dreams and developing them instead of just giving them the answers? Now, once you've identified the one that stands out with you the most, I want you to think of some practical ways that you could put this into action this week, that you could take the next step to grow in this area in loving your passengers. Because unlike George, we don't need a flat tire to start investing in our team. Now, speaking of George, he's about to step into his office, and he's going to put these lessons to work. And I think we're all wondering, how is his team going to respond? Well, I guess we're going to see tomorrow. I'll see you then.